Hey there, fantasy football fans. Amadeo here with Fantasy Alpha, the free fantasy football app for all your best fantasy football insights to help you win your league. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. Now, today's video is called 2019 Target Risers. Now, these are the pass catchers that are in best position to see a high uptick in volume this year. So let's get right to them. The first pass catcher on this list is wide receiver Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In 2018, he had 95 targets, just around 6 a game. Well, in 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 126 targets, around 8 a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, Deshaun Jackson and Adam Humphries have left Tampa Bay. 179 targets open up for him. Bruce Arians takes over the offense, and history suggests that Bruce Arians is going to lead a 60-40 passing offense. And there's no real true wide receiver 3 behind Chris Godwin. And it's his third year with Winston. There's chemistry brewing there. So we're buying all the Chris Godwin volume hype this year. The next pass catcher on our list is wide receiver Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, in 2018, Lockett had 70 targets, a little over 4 a game. In 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 113 targets, about 7 a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, there is no more Doug Baldwin in Seattle, and this is Lockett's 5th season playing with Russell Wilson, the most of any of the pass catchers on the team. And the chemistry is brewing already with Lockett and Wilson. He's coming off a breakout season. He caught 57 balls, 965 yards, and 10 touchdowns last year. And that was on an 80% catch rate, which is insane. And Seattle said they're going to play him a lot more in the slot this year. Last year in the slot, Lockett averaged 17.5 yards per catch, and Wilson had a perfect passer rating when targeting him. I mean, you put that all together with DK Metcalf getting hurt in camp, David Moore getting hurt in camp, it is a no-brainer that Lockett is going to be the go-to wide receiver in Seattle. The next pass catcher on our list is wide receiver Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. In 2018, Williams had 66 targets, a little over 4 a game. In 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 111 targets, around 7 a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, there is no more Tyrell Williams in Los Angeles, so Mike Williams moves into the every down number 2 wide receiver. He's going to play every snap on the field now. And he broke out last year. He had 664 receiving yards and 11 total touchdowns in 2018. And Phillip Rivers averages 31 passing touchdowns his last 6 seasons. And Mike Williams is the go-to wide receiver in the red zone on this team, standing at 6'4". So we love Williams in a prime position for a lot more volume this year. The next pass catcher on our list is wide receiver Sterling Shepard of the New York Giants. Now, in 2018, Shepard had 107 targets. It's a little over 6.5 targets a game. Well, in 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 122 targets, a little over 7.5 targets a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, there is no more Odell Beckham Jr. in New York, so Shepard becomes a de facto number 1 wide receiver. And it's his 4th year with Eli Manning. He's got the chemistry there, and he's already coming off an over 6.5 target a game season. And with Golden Tate suspended weeks 1 through 4, his target share is going to be super high right off the bat. So we love Sterling Shepard in a great position for a lot more volume this year in New York. Next up, we're going to hit you with a double dose of pass catchers, the 2 wide receivers on the Carolina Panthers, DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. Now, in 2018, DJ Moore had 82 targets in his rookie year, around 5 a game. Well, in 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 108 targets, a little closer to 7 a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, there's no more Devin Funchess in Carolina. Funchess takes 79 targets with him. In the last 6 games of 2018, DJ Moore had 51 targets. 8 targets a game, so they were throwing to him a lot, and that's going to continue to bleed into 2019. Now let's go over to Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, in 13 games he played last year, had 65 targets, around 5 a game. Well, Fantasy Alpha in 2019 projects him to have 90 targets. Now, that's because of his injury risk. I think if he plays all 16 games, he can get over the 6 targets a game mark, because last year in his final 5 games, he had 40 targets, 8 targets a game. They were throwing to him a lot, and Funchess is gone. Opens up 79 targets. So we like Moore and Samuel a lot this year to get a lot more volume from Cam Newton. The next pass catcher on our list is wide receiver Courtland Sutton of the Denver Broncos. In 2018, Sutton had 84 targets, a little over 5 a game in his rookie season. In 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 100 targets, a little over 6 a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, last year, Demaryius Thomas was in Denver. Sutton was the number 3 wide receiver. When they traded Thomas, Sutton got 42 targets his last 7 games. He got 6 targets a game. Now he's the number 2 wide receiver in Denver. He's going to be on the field every play. He's going to get that high uptick in volume. And Emmanuel Sanders is 32 years old and coming off a major injury. And Flacco loves to throw the ball deep. So we like Sutton in a prime position here to take over a lot of volume in Denver. The next pass catcher on our list is wide receiver Tyrell Williams of the Oakland Raiders. In 2018, Williams had 65 targets with the Chargers. He got about 4 targets a game. In 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 98 targets with the Oakland Raiders. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, he goes to play in Oakland as the number 2 wide receiver opposite Antonio Brown. There's no one behind him who's going to threaten his number 2 status. And in 2016, when he was thrust into more of a challenging role with Keenan Allen off the field, he had 69 catches, 1059, and 7 touchdowns on 121 targets. So he's proved he can handle the high volume. And he has a career touchdown-to-catch percentage of 9.5%. That's pretty high. So he's going to see a lot of red zone looks as well. So we like Tyrell Williams in Oakland in a position for a lot of volume. The next pass catcher on our list is tight end O.J. Howard of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, in 2018, Howard had 48 targets in 9 games, so he averaged over 5 targets a game. In 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 95 targets, around 6 targets a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, Deshaun Jackson and Adam Humphries leave Tampa Bay. They take 179 targets with them, so that's a lot of targets for Winston to spread around. And Bruce Arians is there, so they're going to be passing the ball a lot. Howard averages 16 yards per catch in his career, and he has a 69% catch rate. He's also scored 11 touchdowns on 60 career catches. He has a 16.5 touchdown to catch percentage rate. So it is worth throwing to Howard and targeting him. So we love him in Tampa Bay as the 3rd best pass catching option this year. And the final pass catcher on our list is tight end Evan Ingram of the New York Giants. Now, in 2018, Ingram had 64 targets, and that was only on 11 games played, so he averaged almost 6 targets a game. Well, in 2019, Fantasy Alpha projects him to have 100 targets, over 6 targets a game. Now, what has changed about his situation that is leading to this high uptick in volume? Well, there's no more Odell Beckham Jr. in New York. In 4 games without Beckham last year, Ingram had 31 targets. He averaged over 7 targets a game. In 2017, where Beckham basically missed the whole season, Ingram had 115 targets on the year. He averaged over 7 targets a game. So he proved he can handle the high volume. And with Golden Tate suspended weeks 1 through 4, there's going to be a lot of targets up in the air for Ingram to catch on to. So we like him in New York this year as the best or 2nd best pass catching option. Well, that's it for 2019 Target Risers. Join us for our next video, Alpha's Bold Predictions, dropping right here on the Fantasy Alpha YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe below. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fantasy Alphas for all your latest fantasy football updates and insights. And download the Fantasy Alpha app. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. Well, until next time, I'm Amadeo with Fantasy Alpha.